Hello and welcome to the final day of our Blended Learning Conference. We want to introduce to you today the idea of learning first, technology second, when it comes to evaluating our educational technology use. You might easily get lost as you've been exploring so many tools and learning so many new things and getting excited about all the possibilities that it's easy to get lost in that. We use so many tools in our district. I mean, literally, this is the number of tools we're using. Educational technology, it's out of control. I mean, there's so many, right? So many things at your disposal and availability for use. It's hard not to see all the possibilities or get lost in all the nuance of the technology. So what we want to introduce to you today is a method, a framework that you can go through and reflect on your technology use and what things are effective and what things are less than effective. That's a competency of a good blended learning teacher as they move forward with this, because not all technology use is made equal. This is a quote from the author of the book Learning First, Technology Second, who developed this Triple E framework, saying learning with technology doesn't happen because a specific tool revolutionizes education. It happens when proven teaching strategies intersect with proven technology tools. That's likely not the first time you've heard something similar. Okay, so what we found when it comes to technology use is that many school administrators admit that their top challenge is that they're not sure whether technology is truly contributing to learning. And as educators, as the people employing the technology, are we certain that it is contributing to learning? I think that's first step, right? So that we can describe what benefits are being had. So there's really a few main areas that happens. And the Triple E framework identifies the three main areas where we see impact for student learning. Impact on engagement, impact on enhancing the learning, okay, providing that added value, and extending the learning, both in the place and the time, but also the reach of the learning to authentic experiences in the real world, building those life skills, if you will, those essential skills. So these are some of the pieces that are really important. What we're going to have you do is actually evaluate a potential use of technology using the Triple E framework. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to walk you through that. And I'm going to have you join me in doing that together. So first, we're going to take a look at a case study for using technology in the classroom. This case study is about using QR codes for a discussion. Okay. So the learning goals, first need to know that. Students will be able to participate in a book club discussion and be active in their conversation sharing and commenting on peer ideas, and then be able to draw evidence from the novel to support their claims. So some pretty good learning goals there. The technology tool is that students will use their cell phone or another device, let's say, to access a QR code scanner. And so this is the activity just outlined. Students will have read the novel. Prior to the discussion, students will be placed in groups of 4 or 5, and then they'll have a handful of QR codes in the middle of the table, and each one will have a unique question available for the discussion as they scan it. Students will take turns using their phone or other device to scan the QR codes, and when the question appears, they'll open it up for discussion. So each student is expected to comment on each and expected to use evidence from the novel to support their opinions. That's the general idea of this. Now, whether you like this idea or not, on the basis of just what you've read, there is a framework that you could use to really evaluate, does this engage students in the learning? Does this enhance their learning in any way and add value? Or does this extend their learning? Okay, so when we look at the Triple E framework, there is a guide for that. And dropped it in your Canvas course here right below this video. I'd encourage you to open it up and use this link to evaluate it. So we're going to do that. And this comes from the University of Michigan, which is where the author of this quote comes from. And so we're going to look at each of these. So first what I want you to do, and you can fill this out, it's fine, just for the research, okay? And so first questions are around engagement. Does a technology tool help students focus on the learning goals or not? So you decide. Does the technology tool help to motivate the students to begin the learning process? You decide, absolutely, somewhat, or not at all. Does the technology tool cause a shift in behavior of students where they're more passive or active social learners? Okay, so decide what you think there. Those are the questions around engagement. Then there are 3 questions around enhancement. So if you haven't already, pause the video and catch up. Now under enhancement, does the technology tool aid students in developing or demonstrating more sophisticated understanding of the content? Okay, opportunities to create over consuming content. Does the technology create scaffolds to make it easier to understand the concepts or ideas behind the learning outcomes in this case? And lastly, under enhancement, does the technology create pathways for students to demonstrate their understanding that could not be done with traditional tools? Okay, so make your decisions on that. And then lastly, go ahead and pause the video if you need to. Then lastly, moving to extension. Does technology create opportunities for students to learn outside of the typical school day? Does technology create a bridge between school learning and their everyday life experiences? And does the technology allow for students to build skills that they will use in their everyday lives? Think specifically about what's been done here in this case study by using QR codes for discussion. Measure each of these, and then you will submit, and you'll get a score. Go ahead and do that now. Once you've submitted, you'll be brought to this page to learn how to read the results. And so you'll notice that anything from 13 to 18 points on the survey is pretty strong correlation between technology and meeting those learning goals. Indeed does help engage, enhance, and extend the learning. Whereas 7 through 12 is a fairly limited correlation. Could be enhanced by potentially some different instructional moves or some different uses of technology. 6 points or lower, you're kind of in trouble, and this is likely not a great use of technology. So, where did this land for you? Where did this land for your neighbor? Feel free to have that discussion as well. For me, I'll tell you where it landed. I'm going to give this a 5 out of 18. Mostly points around potentially engaging people as they, were maybe a little more engaged in the questions or able to begin getting started by just simply scanning QR codes. But I didn't see much enhancement, if any, and I didn't see much opportunity for extension, maybe a little bit of building communication skills through this technology tool, but could have been done without. So, not saying this is bad. This isn't like bad teaching. It's just not effective use of educational technology to have learning first, technology second. It's kind of a bell and whistle kind of thing, right? To add just for flair, if you will. I kind of had the benefit of looking at some of what the experts have said on this. Their range was anywhere between 4 and 7 on this particular piece. So I want you to look with a critical eye to what you've already begun to plan before you're too far down the road. And then as you adopt and implement your plan, you'll want to review this kind of thing frequently. This tool is a great tool to do that. It's a great tool to help you to really move to the next level. There are also strategies that you can use to move to the next level, if you will. So if the lesson you've set out or the plans you've set out aren't quite scoring as highly as you'd like to on effectiveness of allowing for engagement, enhancement, and extension, there's some suggestions listed here that you might find helpful. Well, as you get into your final day, think purposefully about how you use educational technology, how it will truly help to build cognitive engagement, student ownership, enhance their learning, and really extend their learning beyond what you've done previously. Blending that new age technology with the old school wisdom and coming together to eventually lead to a more personalized learning outcomes for students. So feel free to call us over, and we're happy to help. Have a great day.